Hi, this is my aging and making more original looking treatment to my Airsoft PPSH-41. I've had a few of these guns. I've had the Hexagon, the Ares, the S&T. This seems to be the best built one. It has this enamel black paint all over it and a very glossy, shiny, almost plastic looking wooden treatment on the stock. It's still a well-made gun, but it doesn't look World War II enough for me. So first thing to do is strip the whole thing apart, and I split them into two piles, one magnetic and one non-magnetic or aluminium. Started off with the aluminium bits. There's not much you can do. You can use aluminium black, which is a chemical treatment which I did use, but it doesn't work very well, and it just makes them a little bit darker. It's not as good as the steel treatment. But this bit here is the main part of the gun. This is steel, so to remove the paint, very easy. If you heat it up, it comes off just like wiping a poster paint off. It's really easy. If you don't heat it up, you're there for a long time. So the blowtorch and a wire wheel does the trick. Didn't take long, probably only about half an hour to strip the paint off maybe extra. Then the stock, get rid of all of that varnish and nasty finish it had on it, and stripped it right back down to the bare wood, which is a very soft, light wood, but it's what you get. So I'm still grateful. Would have taken a half a day to carve that out. And then a good fun bit of aging, beat the hell out of it. I've just got a large box of nuts and bolts. You can use chain, you can use lots of different things. As long as you just dent up the surface, mark it randomly, you can't really go wrong. More the better. Then I'm just using some dark oak stain here, and I'm just rubbing it in. Stain works really well. It soaks into the wood and it gives it a good deep colour. And you can apply finishes over the top of it. If you add a wax at this stage, the wax creates a barrier that you can't really add anything to it afterwards. So I tend to go for these spirit-based stains to start with. I'm deciding on the gun whilst I'm doing it where it will be held most, and where the grubby little soldier who would have had the real one would have held it, and where his fingerprints and oil and dirt would have been more. And I'm just applying liberally with a sponge, a lot more stain there, to try and get it just to be darker. And then I'm using any oil. I've just got some chain lube here, used engine oil or any kind of oil at all. It's going to soak in and it's going to make it even darker. You can use ink as well, but ink is quite extreme. So I'm just those parts that have the main touch and grab, I'm just putting oil on there, letting it soak in, and it does do a nice effect of leaching in and making it even darker. After that, I'm using True Oil, which is a blend of different oils that's designed for doing real steel gun stocks. It's good. It's better than using just walnut oil or something, or linseed oil, because this dries a lot quicker. And it does harden up eventually after a few days into quite a hard sort of shellac type finish. So the best thing to do, put it on with your hand. Just rub it in. The more you rub it, the warmer it gets, the deeper it gets sucked in. Now I've got all my bits that I've cleaned up with a wire wheel. I'm just going to bash them as well. Just put a few more dents and knocks, and just from being thrown in the back of a van and, you know, just being knocked about, and all the sort of general abuse that a military weapon would go through in its day-to-day use, especially a Russian one, which I always imagine would be a bit more rough and ready. What I've done then is I have cleaned it with some alcohol, then I've applied chemical bluing to it, which is just a paste, and then I soaked it in engine oil, which I was told would make it a harder finish. After I've soaked it in engine oil, I then had the horrible task of having lots of dripping wet oily bits which were contaminating everything they touched, and so washing up time. Bucket of really hot, really soapy water, and just trying to get most of the oil off. I did leave a film of oil, doesn't matter how much you clean it, which is good. It's that's going to stop it rusting. But you get this with this chemical bluing, you get this lovely brown, sort of black, sometimes purple and yellow hints of colour, like an oil film on the metal. It looks much more realistic than black paint. So here it is finished and put back together. So it just, for me, it already has the wonderful feel of being mainly steel, this gun. It's quite heavy, quite robust, but now it's got more of a look of being made in a factory rather than painted and coming out of a polystyrene box as it did originally. And I'll just end up with some photos that hopefully mirror the ones at the beginning of this video, just showing the sort of finish you get with the chemical bluing and with the restaining of the wood.